Welcome back to another week of the Hard Hit Sports Selection Show. This week we kick things off with the Mid-Penn Capital Division. Our first game up is Palmyra, who will be taking on Milton Hershey. Palmyra is having a very good year as of late, and I think they finish out their season with another win over the Spartans. And then we move on to East Pennsboro and Boiling Springs. This game will take place at Boiling Springs, and East Penn is rolling behind Onassis Neely, and I think they pick up another win to round out their regular season and prepare for playoffs. And then we have Trinity taking on Camp Hill at Camp Hill High School. I think that both these teams have been having a rough season, and I honestly think that the home field advantage is the deciding factor. I think Camp Hill is going to pick up another win over the Shamrocks to round out their regular season and close things out. And finally, for the Capital Division, we have Steelton Highspire taking on Middletown at Steelton Highspire. This is a very big game for the Capital Division, and I think it's going to be a good one to watch. We have Brady Fox and the Middletown Raiders taking on Dupree Andrews and the Steel High Rollers, and it's a hard one to pick against the Raiders. The Rollers have a very solid team, but I'm going to go with the undefeated team to finish out their regular season at 10-0, and I'm going to pick Middletown for this week, and I think that's how they're going to close their regular season. Next, we move on to the Colonial Division. Our first game in the Colonial Division is Big Springs, who is taking on Shippensburg. Ship has been playing solid football all season long, only losing a few times, and I think they're going to round out their regular season with another win. Up next is Twin Valley, who is taking on Greencastle. I think that Twin Valley is going to knock off Greencastle and close out the regular season at 500. And then we move on to Mifflin County and Waynesboro at Mifflin County High School. I think Waynesboro is going to pick up another win to close out their regular season as well. I don't think Mifflin County quite has what it takes to knock off this Waynesboro team. And finally, for the Colonial Division, we have Northern York taking on West Perry at Northern York High School. Northern York has been playing pretty good football this season, and I don't think West Perry is going to give them a run for their money at their home field. I think Northern York picks up a win to close out the regular season, and I think they get ready for playoffs. And then we move on to the Mid-Penn Commonwealth Division. For our Friday night games, we have Chambersburg taking on Carlisle. Chambersburg's been having a very rough season, and I think Carlisle just adds some fuel to that fire and knocks them off to close out the regular season. And up next, we have Central Dauphin taking on State College. The Rams coming in at 6-3, State College coming in at 7-2. This is a tough one to pick, but I honestly think that the Little Lions have what it takes to knock off the Rams, and I think that State College moves on for their final week with another win. And then Saturday for the Commonwealth Division, we have Cumberland Valley taking on Harrisburg at Severance Field. This game will be kicking off at 2 o'clock p.m. This game time was moved, so please make sure that you note 2 o'clock p.m. is the kickoff time. I know Penn Live is showing it as 1 o'clock. Everything that has been announced ever since the time change has been 2 o'clock, so make sure that you do not forget kickoff 2 o'clock, Severance Field. This will be a game that you do not want to miss. Cumberland Valley is a very tough team, and so is Harrisburg. Harrisburg has been unstoppable this season. The Cougars are at 9-0. They have been rolling all season long. No one has been able to get in their way. They're knocking off teams left and right. Cumberland Valley comes off a win against East last week, and honestly, it's hard to pick against the Eagles, but if anybody's going to beat them right now, it's going to be the Cougars. I'm picking the Cougars to round out their regular season undefeated at 10-0. And now that I've picked the Cougars, go down to my comment section. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think the Eagles overcome it? Do you think that they knock off the top-tier team? Or do you think that the Cougars continue rolling and finish out the regular season by winning the division? Drop it in the comments below and let me know what you think. And finally, we move on to the Mid-Penn Keystone. First up, we have Redland taking on Mechanicsburg at Mechanicsburg. Redland has struggled all season long. I think the home field advantage gives Mechanicsburg that last fuel on their fire, and I think they knock off Redland to close out the regular season. And then we have Susquehanna Township taking on Cedar Cliff at Cedar Cliff High School. The Tribe is coming off a win against Hershey last week. Cedar Cliff is always a tough team to play against, and I think playing at Cedar Cliff's home field makes it a little bit tougher. Unfortunately, I have to pick the Colts to win this one. I love my Tribe family, but I think that the Colts are going to finish out their regular season with another win. And then we have Hershey taking on Lower Dauphin at Lower Dauphin. Hershey has struggled all year long. This one, for me, is an easy pick. I'm picking the Lower Dauphin Falcons to win out for their final regular season game. And last but certainly not least, the game that I will be attending this Friday, Bishop McDevitt and Central Dauphin East at Bishop McDevitt High School. East has been rolling on all cylinders. McDevitt has been playing tough football and picked up a win against Lower Dauphin last week to take the top of the Keystone Division. Honestly, this is another tough game, and I think this is going to be a really good game because it's another crossover between the Mid-Penn Keystone and the Commonwealth. But I'm going to go with the Crusaders. They have the wow factor right now. They have been playing top-notch football, and I don't know if East can quite stop them. East was stuttering last week against the Eagles from Cumberland Valley, and I don't know if they quite have what it takes this week to knock off a full-steam Bishop McDevitt Crusader team. So my pick is Bishop McDevitt. This is my game of the week. This is where I will be heading. I will be at Rocco Ortenzio Stadium Friday night. So drop down in the comments on this one too. Who do you think? Is it the Crusaders or is it the Panthers? Who's going to take the win on Friday night at Rocco Ortenzio? Let me know what you think. If you agree with my picks and that was my final one for the day, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Drop a like. What do you think? Who's going to win? If you don't agree, let me know in the comments who you would pick. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, make sure you share it, and pass it along. And before I close this video out, let me give a shout out to the Susquehanna Township Youth Midget Football Association on being invited to the national tournament by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That is a big accomplishment. If you saw my video last night, they got their call to the hall, which is the motto that this tournament is going by. So make sure you give them a shout out and congratulate them on this awesome accomplishment. And that'll wind things down. Thanks for joining me today on the Hard Hit Sports Selection Show, and we'll see you again next week for playoffs.